Justin Day, we tried to sign. Justin, unfortunately, turned us down, and he's going to go to Bologna at the end of his contract. Despite our best attempts, we were looking like a team that could bring him in, but at the end of the day, it just wasn't to be. I would have loved to get this guy on a permanent transfer. I think he would have been good for the team, but it's just not to be. That being said, we've just had a youth intake, and I like to think it's a decent one, even if I can't see any of the attributes. I'm going by star ratings here or by dots, and it could be okay. And looking at this so far, I think this is a reasonable intake, even if you can't see half a player's attributes in such a long way. I like to think it's good. Alan Stein is the person that we are apparently meant to be looking out for the most. He has the trait of try long range free kicks and runs with the ball often. Apparently he's also got decent pace, so it could be one of those things. I never know. Either way, this kid could have potential to do good things. He can also play as a striker and the winger. So there's that. I could play him as Mazzala or box-to-box. I could also play him as a striker as the advanced forward. So this kid's got potential. I don't know what to do with him otherwise. And maybe, just maybe, we can either use him in the long term or selling him for profit. The next person on the list is someone who hasn't really got a good personality and is very inconsistent, but Max Collin is a person we can at least talk about. Maybe he could be useful longer term. He would be more of a midfielder than anything else, but again, one of those people that has potential. I don't think he'll be with the team longer term though. And I have to look at players with potential ability, or at least people with decent personalities, and Iwan Javanen is the person next on the list. He can play as a winger as well as a fullback and inverted winger. This is a weird player in some regards, but I'm also not concerned. I don't see much. He's got a good personality, very driven, so maybe a player we could utilize in the longer term if he gets his potential ability up and he gets his physical abilities up. I think he'll be a good person to utilize longer term, but the young Finnish winger could be interesting. There are a few more people to talk about, but the person with the best apparent current ability is this guy, and Obansky is the person we're looking at. Now, I don't see a lot of him, and he's very brave, got good aggression, so maybe he's more a pressing forward, as the fact that they generally believe it's the case. 1.5 star current ability for that and the advanced force, so maybe we could use that. He can also be a Mazzala, so again, useful. He is inconsistent, but I'm not really relying on much. Now, that being said, enough about the youth prospects. We've had a player that's become perhaps the best player in the league and has figured out how to turn on God mode. And I don't say this often, but I think I've got a player that might have just become the best player I've ever seen since the winter break. The first game we had after the winter break was actually a 0-0 draw against Schalke, our only goalless draw of the campaign so far. And I was a little surprised it happened, but at the same time, I guess it isn't too terrible. The fact we didn't lose at all to Schalke this year is a good sign for me. That being said, we also took in Karlsruhe and managed to only draw 2-2 after that start that put us 1-0 down inside 3 minutes. I generally forgot this happened. This is why I went for the victories, not for the first 2 games of the campaign. But then Glatzel has 3 attempts to score, gets the equalising goal. Good stuff. We then have a corner to make it 2-1. And Ramos scores it, so that's good. I thought, oh, we're going to win this game. Turns out we weren't, and they score from a corner themselves. A bit annoying, but honestly, that's a really good finish, and I can't even begrudge their player for scoring it. I will begrudge my players for not getting the victory. Very disappointing, to say the least. And going 1-0 down to Hertha Berlin was not ideal in the first game since the winter break, but we beat them 2-1 to get our first win in the few games, and Ambrosio is several people doing well at the wings. And Robert Glatzel decides, I'm just going to make this my show, and we're going to do good, whether you want it or not. And the fact we did get the opening equalizer there was good. And then Heyer plays us across, and yes, Königsdorfer with the finish to make it 2-1. We get the victory, I'm happy we did, and it means that we're looking very good again. Hertha Berlin, actually struggling to really get top half, could be more involved in the relegation fight than they like to admit. Then we hosted Hanover and we beat them 5-1. In a game they went and finished with 9 men. We took the lead, just as shot actually ended up becoming an own goal, which is annoying. And Hanover equalised from the corner, so for whatever reason we can't keep a clean sheet right now. And I will be honest, I wasn't happy with the fact that A&B scored that goal. But then we scored a penalty. Benez getting that finish 2-1. And then they have an absolute howl at the back, Hanover. And yeah, that's not great. I don't know what's going on there, but Jatta's not going to miss the opportunity to score. And then we get another penalty. Benez with that. This time, less power, more precision. And then we make it 5 in the 64th minute of the game to really cement our dominance. And that wasn't even when they had their second red card. So Glatzel showing again why Robert Glatzel might be my favourite player of the save so far. We then went to Hansa Rostock and we dropped points against the last time. No mistakes this time. We beat them 4-2, though the own goal, scored by our loanee to them, Jonas David, was not against a bad thing. Either way, we make it 2. Robert Glatzel getting the end of this and doing that. I don't know what the kid was doing at the end of that, but I'm not concerned. Either way, it looked like a dinked effort to make it 2. Was it 3? It was 3-0. No, it was 2-0. I'm confusing myself. But Glatzel scores. Getting to the end of that cross first, David was not enjoying himself today. And then we let Hansa Rostock get 2 goals. And this wasn't great. Good Johnson with the finish here. I think it even hits our defenders before going in. So that's annoying. And then they take a throw and score from the resulting throw. Schumacher plays it across, finds Good Johnson, and Good Johnson scores a second. So, okay, annoying. And then Glatzel decides, you know what? I don't like the fact you're getting close. I'm going to score to complete my hatch with that effort. Finding the top corner. A good finish. Hanover 4-2 winners. Really shouldn't have been allowed to concede 2 goals here, but it happens, unfortunately, sometimes. But what can you do? Remember when I said that we didn't have the best of time against Elversberg in the last time? Well, we got revenge. We beat them 3-1. Glatzel scores the first goal of the game. And continuing his incredible run of form. So, we're winning every game right now. We're looking very dominant. And Glatzel then gets his second, finds the top corner of that effort, and I couldn't believe how well he struck it. And then we have a corner, it finds its way to the back post, and then, well, Jean-Luc Diambe scores. So, okay, good to see that go well. We do consider goal later on, mind you. Stock actually, it's under 5 manner. He finds his teammate Martinovic, and it's 3-1. We still win. And given that we lost 3-2 last time against his team, I'll take that as a victory that I can be proud of. For now. So then we take on Osnabrück and we beat them 4-0. Comfortable game, really, as far as I'm concerned. And Glatzel wasn't actually at his best for goal scoring, but for assists. Weiss with the goal to open the scoring this time around. And we make it 2-0 inside 15 minutes. So Jatta finds Glatzel. He finds back in the net. Good goal. Really good stuff. And it goes to the second half. Then we get our third. And Glatzel finds Jatta. Jatta is not going to miss that unless you somehow sky it from there. Either way, we make it for Nemeth finds Bienez, and Bienez, well, apparently that goes as an own goal. I don't believe that's an own goal personally, but quite frankly, I'm not complaining. We got a 4-0 victory, so a good win either way. That being said, we then go to Fortuna Düsseldorf and beat them 3-1. We scored at the first 2 minutes. Weiss gets another goal, so that's good. And we're looking extremely promising. Jean-Luc Diambe with the corner finds Glatzel, who scores again. He is enjoying himself this year with his 27th league goal already. Then we find Mohem, who plays the ball across, and it's an own goal. Hoffman scores it, so it wasn't their day. But they get a goal back, 86 minutes in. So our problem, I find, is I probably made too many substitutes again. They weren't really aware what's going on sometimes, but Dauphiné shouldn't be allowed to score or get to that position to get the goal in the first place. They actually had a better XG and more shots than us. We just took our chances, apparently. So, yeah, either way, another 3 points. And then we got our revenge against Rehen and beat them 6-1 after they beat us 1-0 earlier this season. Glatzel got another hat-trick. He opened the score inside 10 minutes. And then Benez scores his free kick to double our lead, so we're already in firm control as far as I'm concerned. And it's 3-0 inside 36 minutes, so almost a goal every 10 minutes. And Glatzel is a bit fortunate to get to that effort, but he's not complaining for his 29th goal this season in the league. Heyer is then given too much time and space, allowed the players in the middle to Jatta. Weiss finds Paray, and Paray scores 4-0. And we do give up a goal here, unfortunately. It's annoying, but it is one of those things. Sometimes it just doesn't go away. Then Bennett scores a penalty to make it 5-1 to really get us back in control. And then we decide, you know what, we'll get a 6. Glatzel on the ball, goes there, fires back in the net, in off the post, 6-1 inside 73 minutes, and that's the match. We completely destroy our opponents. Turns out we don't like the fact that teams can beat us, and we decide we're going to ruin their day. That being said, 7 wins in a row we've had since we've had the winter break, and we come back from it. We're now 15 points clear of Schalke and Elversberg. St. Pauli have lost 3 in a row and only got 1 point in the last 4 matches, so they've dropped off as well. So it's not ideal. The fact that Schalke have come back from the dead effectively and come back to do well. Fortuna Düsseldorf are also only 3 points off the top 2 now. And Holstein Kiel are also just 4 points off that. And Nuremberg are 6 points away from that is a good sign. Hertha, 6 points away from the relegation playoffs, so they're not enjoying themselves. Either way, we're showing that we are going to get promoted. If we don't get promoted from here, 8 games to go, I'll be slightly annoyed. But what can you do? But either way, I wanted to show you some bits and pieces and show you our intake. And then show you the fact that Robert Glatzel has got 30 league goals in 26 league games. The man is a machine right now. I don't think I've ever had a player do this well in a division like this. I thought he was good. Turns out he's considered a Bundesliga level, even a leading Bundesliga level at one point. But he's also 30, so what on earth do I do when his contract gets close to expiring? He's got 3 years left of his contract. Do I just keep him here for the next 3 years? Or do I just actively go out my way to try and find a replacement for him in the longer term? The guy's a machine, and I really love how he's playing. That being said, he's also only 7 goals away from breaking the all-time record of Rudi Voller. He's 7 goals away from matching it with 37, and he's got 8 games to do it. So he legitimately could just get another 8 goals in 8 games and break the record. We're not going to break the record for most league goals in the season. That's 104. I don't see us getting 40 goals in 8 games. It would be impressive if we did, but I don't see it happening. But that being said, I am starting to look at people that we can potentially bring in. Mostly look at German players, mind you. Daniel Nomov is officially going to be going to UAE at the end of the season. So it's not ideal. We're not going to get him. But at the end of the day, I don't think it's the end of the world. I probably should take him off my shortlist as a result of that. But I look at the people that we're looking at and thinking, oh, good ideas, potentially bringing some people in. I'm actually looking at Noah Atobulo for goalkeeper. And I know what you're potentially thinking. How am I meant to get this guy from Freiburg, right? He's 6'3", 21 years of age. He's got 3 years left in the contract. He's a long shot. He's absolutely a long shot. Extremely doubtful. But if I can convince this guy to sign for me in the longer term, I think we've got a goalkeeper to keep us in a good position for the next 10 years. The fact he starts his career at Freiburg is also a very good sign. So he's a homegrown talent. Shows they're willing to give their young player a chance. So do I try and convince this guy to sign for me in the longer term? And how do I do it when I can only offer, at best, £20,500 a week? Another player we're looking at is Jan Orel Bisek. Now, admittedly, I don't have much knowledge to work on with the Moneyball side of things, but he's also unhappy. He wants to leave. He's a player who relishes big matches. He's consistent, and he's transfer listed for £4.9 million. He's a fringe player for their point of view. He's also wanted by a lot of teams that generally could be competitive for us, and that's a good sign. So I think, given that these teams are wanting him, that he could be a player we can bring in. And who knows, maybe we can just get someone really, really exciting. He would like to sign for us because of the fact we're giving the first team football. And he's 23, he's young, he could be a good potential player. I can't really say much more than that, admittedly, but even then, the potential's good. I am looking at a young talent thinking, well, we can look at him. Spirit of personality, unflappable as well. The fact that I don't have much to work on in terms of lack of appearances is annoying. So I would have loaned this guy in, potentially, but I can't do that, sadly. But at the end of the day, something to work on. Also, he would absolutely be a wide centre-back or ball-playing defender because he gets for whatever possible. That's annoying. That's the one thing I will have to acknowledge as a problem. But do I change my way of thinking because of him? And, I mean, 6'5", he'll be very good at corners. But the player I'm looking at for next year, and this is more of a loan signing, is Alexander Pavlovic. Now, he would be a loan sign from Bayern Munich. I look at him, I think, okay, box-to-box Mazzala or deep line playmaker. We could work with that 100%. He would be very interested in a loan move. He's also not terribly expensive, and he will work towards the criteria we have. He's consistent, he's got good potential, and I don't know, maybe this guy could be someone we can bring in. He would be replacing Jonas Moffett as well, so again, this guy is 29, so it would make sense to bring a younger replacement for him. And I think, yeah, we could look at that longer term. Again, though, don't really have a lot to work with in regards to this guy, but I think he could be really useful. Whether or not we can convince the guy to sign for us, I don't know. But an option for when we get promoted to the Bundesliga is always a nice one to have. With someone else to already sign for us for the next transfer window, we've already got another right back coming in. So that's a sign we don't have to worry so much about it. And given he's also still playing for Greuther Fürth, despite the fact that, you know, I can't actually give you this regardless, but given the fact he's already signing for them and still playing for them as far as I'm aware, it's a good sign. It means that, yes, we've got someone who is still developing his game. He is 23, so he isn't the youngest in the world, but he will be a player that we can definitely utilize longer term. That means, has he been playing the last couple of games? I should probably check this now. I can check this because of the schedule. So 7 games. Okay, bench. No. Well, okay, yes. He's been mostly from the bench now since he left. Okay, so he's mostly been put on the bench these days. Not ideal, but he's still a player that we can utilize longer term, I think. And a player that I'm also looking at is Giancarlo Simic. Now, this person we do have knowledge about, and he's also on loan at Nuremberg, so would be very useful to get on loan as well. He is a player with a resolute personality on loan from AC Milan. So, I could see this being a thing where AC Milan would be very happy to loan into us if they're willing to do this, simply because we'd be a Bundesliga team next year, and they will be looking to develop him a bit more. The fact he's got great potential helps, so once more, we're looking at 2 centre-backs. I don't really know much more than that, where I can really improve at the moment, but the fact that both centre-backs are at Milan clubs, and they're both German, really makes this ironic. But with looking at 5 players so far, I will need to get more knowledge for the analytic side of things going forward, but I'm happy where we are right now, and who knows, maybe we can get something going forward in the future. I also may have been forced to offer a player a new contract, which is why their wage budget is slightly over, but it is what it is. That being said, we're going to end things on this because we've been really good at the league and we should be getting promoted now. If we don't, I'll be very, very surprised. The record for most points, by the way, I went to one part. The record for most points is 76 points by Hertha Berlin. We're 15 points away from that, and we've got 8 games left. So we actually could break that record. Could we? Will we? I don't know. I wouldn't say it's the end of the world if we don't break it, because it's one of those things. But if we don't break it, it would mean that we would not have won 5 games or something, which, given we've got 8 games left, we should be winning. I'll try to come back for the actual game where we can clinch the title and promotion. Sometimes that can go against us or not, I don't know. But either way, we're looking good. And I'm going to end this here. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I hope you guys liked the in-depth look I was looking at, why I was looking at the players that I've shortlisted and going from there. Either way though, and next time, goodbye and well, good night.